when you participate in these competitions, is it very much like surfing or rhythmic gymnastics in that there's like a point scoring system which is very subjective? How do they score these events?
Yeah, so in a free running competition, it is very subjective. You're given the course, you do your line, your elements, your competition course, and then the judges will judge that accordingly. But then we have skill and speed competitions, which are much easier on the judging side of things. It's whoever got over the line fastest, and you'll be given a intricate course to participate in. It's a little bit different to obstacle course racing because you're given a bit more variety of obstacle, and then you can choose your path, which makes those individual choices of the more experienced athletes really stand out and that sort of thing. Or like if you have a skill that will get you across the line faster, you can really utilize it in those competitions. And then the skill competition is preordained skills that are set out, and then who can hit them in the least amount of attempts or who can do the most skills out of the bunch in a certain amount of time. So it's very much curated and very like easy to say that wins, that doesn't count, that is good landing, that's a bad landing. So it's uh, depending on the type of competition you do, it can really differentiate between uh, like the judging components.
Have you competed at any events? How did you go?
Yeah, so I was competing for years. I've actually never won a parkour
Oh,
competition,
really?
which is yeah. I got very well known for falling on my ass in these competitions. 2016, 15, 16, 17, I was competing like 6 times a year and just falling over in front of
You
thousands of
got
people all
signed
the
with
time.
Red Bull in 2017, didn't you?
Yeah,
So was that a period after the competing that you got picked up, or was that through more social media? Would you say the Red Bull
it
sponsor?
was it was both. It was being at all these events and competing still means that you had to qualify or get yourself into that top bunch of athletes. So I was very seen at like the worldwide community events and that sort of thing. And then my social media presence was growing rapidly. So that was for them a huge selling point. I believe they were, obviously want to modernize their outlook and be able to take in sports that aren't just that traditional Olympic formula. And so they did a really good job at like utilizing that aspect of my profile and working together on my social media specifically. Like they would share lots of stuff on their profile and use the clips that I was producing to Ford Red Bull. So it works in like a tandem way.
Now, the training that when you're leading up to these competitions, the train, or even just, the way you're training at the moment, is it very structured in nature? Kind of like periodization for football or rugby league, say, or these team-based sports. Is it very structured in nature where you have a period of, periodization throughout the training year, or is it very much just how you feel week to week, month to month? That
Yeah, the second option, it's very how you feel. Like you can implement structure. I'm, going when I'm training full time, going to the gym once or twice a day and doing mobility and activation exercises, less strength based stuff just to work on like my body physically, and then I'll be training like 3 or 4 times a week. But it's it's one of those things because there's so many variant factors, people you're training with, uh, the weather, it very much isn't uh preordained and structured in that way. You're going out when you feel like you can, or you're just working with what you have at the time. It's not got like a coach telling you when to show up, or you've got to be at the spot at 7:30, or no one's going to train. Like it doesn't work like that.
in terms of like the specific methods for strength and conditioning for parkour, like I've seen
Mm-hmm.
Pavel's Dragon Door, box.com, and there's different techniques. Maybe talk us through some of these different techniques that you have applied over the years.
Uh, for me, the strength and conditioning side is about practicing lower level movement and fundamental body movements, a lot of body weight training, and making sure that I'm not just strong but flexible enough to get into all these varied positions, or if I, for some reason, am in an awkward position from a jump, that my body can handle the loading in that sort of stuff in that sort of position. So yeah, it's really just now really if I do any resistance training or any weight training, it's very low weight, just making sure that my body is activated and strong so that when I go out and I do the high end action, I'm not degrading my body. I guess you always want to be strong enough. Something we've always told you always want to be strong enough to like you always want to be strong enough to attempt the challenges that you want, as opposed to having like eyes bigger than your stomach per se.